What's going on, guys? Welcome back to this series where I slowly use my sanity by creating giant Lego scenes, pop culture locations, and whatever my mind comes up with inside of Lego Fortnite. And today we're creating Bendy Chapter 1. If you don't know, so I'm a big fan of Bendy and the Ink Machine, and I want to recreate Bendy inside of Lego Fortnite, specifically Bendy Chapter 1. I caught myself at a good time as I started working on the layout a few days ago, and I'm slowly working on this. This is a kind of a side project, not really like a side project, but I'm trying to take my time with it so I don't rush it. But as you see, you got the main starting room, you got like a bunch of the main stuff going on over here. Just a slow process where I'm slowly going through the whole entire layout of the map. There's barely any decorations here. It's using the friendly neighborhood, the tomato temple, and some of the Anarchy Acres gallery. This is the only room that's actually starting to be decorated, which is the ink machine room, which is pretty exciting, and I'm totally not scared about how in the world I'm going to make that thing. Just kidding, I actually am. Overall, I'm pretty excited to work on this. It's an idea I had since March. I just kind of got delayed since I was doing some like feeder stuff for my college. One of my college courses I'm doing a lot of feeder stuff for, and I was a part of a play, which was why uploads were kind of crazy during April, as I was kind of going to rehearsals and stuff like that. But yeah, we're back on track, and we're finally working on this thing, which is pretty exciting. It's going to definitely go well with some of the Oro Studio Gallery stuff they've got in the last past. So with that being said, let's just jump into a time lapse. Here we go!
And we're jumping right into things. Before we start, I do want to give credits to the source I use as the main reference images for the video to kind of get the studio's layout right, which is Gamer's Little Playground and the whole entire walkthrough of Bendy Machine, which I'll leave in the description down below for those wanting to check it out. But with that being said, let's just jump right into things. As you see here, I'm starting to finish up the ink machine room and working on the ink machine itself. I do mention this later on, so I'm not going to try to repeat myself, but the ink machine took over an hour to make, because I wanted to make it as accurate as I possibly could to the original game, which the final result looks absolutely incredible in my opinion. You're going to see it later, but it was a lot of fun. This time lapse is 85% of the actual build. I'm not joking. This build took so long, man, but it's absolutely worth it. It's a beauty. One of my favorite, like, actual, like, recreations of a video game style like Fortnite. And actually what you're seeing there is me trying to recreate the actual melee room. It was kind of like a Scooby-Doo kind of wall thing where you have, like, the wall spin. But it did not work that well, and I decided just kind of scrap the idea. But as you see here, I'm just kind of, like, placing the layout of the floors, doing a little Miku dance, I guess. And we're also just gonna, like, do some other stuff as well, like placing down some furniture, walls, just random stuff. You know, I just, like, I don't normally do this when I'm building stuff, but normally I just, like, make the actual layout first. But for this build, I was going, like, adding a decoration as I built the actual room, which is very different to how I normally handle things, but it worked very well, especially for this build in particular. But as you see, I'm building this room here, which is a lot of fun to put together. The rooms here, it was very, like, hard to put together because it wasn't really aligned to the walls, but it did work out in the end, which was great. It all works out. It was a fun thing of this build. It just worked out totally fine. But as you see as well, I just kept on building stuff, and there's so many details here, like using the frosted piece kind of sharing upside down. You have like the frosted piece kind of making the actual Joey Juice sign, which you can see in a second. Yeah, right about here, you can see me actually put that together. But you see, there's so many details. Like, this took multiple hours just to get the details done, which is so crazy to think about. Because, like, I was just, like, so, like, focused, and I'm like, oh, crap, it's 2 o'clock. That happened a lot. I was like, oh, wait. I have stuff to do. But see here, I'm working on the drill and stuff here, and this build was a lot of fun. Just to put together. Seriously, it was a lot of blast working on this. And I don't want to really repeat myself a lot. But seriously, it was a lot of fun, like, kind of making these video game remakes. It's always a joy to do. So with that being said, I'm gonna head back off to...
Just like that, the build is done. And man, it's such a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful sight being stuck in the ink dimension. Oh yeah, I turned into a ink banana peely. Yeah, don't ask how this happened. I just been stuck in this ink studio for so long. I think the ink kind of just consumed me at this point and just turned me into a cartoon character. I don't know. It's kind of weird. One day I got consumed by ink, the art, next I just woke up like this. Don't question it. But yeah, the build is done. Mostly. I'll show you what I mean later. The actual build is done. It's just, in terms of exterior, well, we have no exterior. Which, I'll get to in the future. What I'm thinking about doing for that is I'm pretty much gonna... The series is called Lego Fortnite for a reason. I just have nothing planned currently, and what I think I'm gonna do is just like kind of build like miniature shops around JoJo Studios, or kind of like facades around it.
I think that's what I'm going to do, so that's why I'm not trying to rush myself to finish it. But the main interior, though, the actual remake of Bendy is done. That's what we're all here for. So with that being said, we'll just jump right to it. So, of course, we got the main entranceway here of Bendy, so we got a bunch of the pictures from the Art Deco room, and it's cool stuff. So one of my favorite things about this build, in general, was trying to make sure I had the lighting of Bendy kind of give that feel of the original Bendy game. And I think I did really well. There's only one room I was kind of iffy on because it looks too bright to me, but I used a lot of the Daily Bugle lights for this. If you're wondering which light I use for those interested, it was the Paul Lowell light. Perfect. And yeah, I used a lot of these. I try to use them as sparingly as I can to get it off this like effect. And man, it looks so cool. And we also got the Joju Studio sign here, which looks amazing. I used the thruster piece to kind of accomplish this. And yeah, I use the thruster piece a lot. It's a brilliant trick, especially if you like have wall pieces. It lets you create so many cool designs, like my little Scott Benny cutout over there. Yeah, that's our Scott Bendy cutout. You're gonna see him a lot throughout this build. That's our Scott Bendy. You don't make fun of Scott Bendy. He's a part of this establishment. Don't make fun of him, or the ink demon will get you. Of course, you got a little Bendy head right there. And as I mentioned before, this build was originally planned to be kind of made around March, and it was such a good thing I decided to like not just for the stuff I was doing for my school and like feeder stuff, but also just because, bro, we got like the decor stuff in like the festival pass for the Oro stuff, which, if you're wondering, this is absolutely a reason why I was not as bothered about the pass not including a Lego kit. I was like, oh, these pieces are going to be really useful for one of my next builds. That was literally my mindset at the time. I was like, oh, this is good. I was surprised they had this. This always happens. This happened like Fnaf 2, right? When they had the arcade machines. Like, I did not like have arcade machines. It was only a few weeks after I posted that video that they released the arcade machine. So I was just like, it was great that I actually delayed this whole project, because it made this build better, if that makes any sense. I am trying to figure the best word. It made it the best that it could possibly be with the current stuff that I have, if that makes any sense. So going over here, we got some desks, which is a part of the gallery, which is exactly what I was talking about, because these things we just can draw, and it is incredible. It's amazing. And of course, in Bendy and Ink Machine, there's a ton of doors. There's in the studio of Jojo. A lot of them are locked. Now, we don't really have locked doors in Lego Fortnite, so instead, we have doors that lead to the inky dimension that is the void. Not saying that's how I got consumed by the ink, but it might be. I'm not gonna comment on that. But going over here, you can actually find Henry's desk, and this is based on the original, like the more the updated version of Bendy the Ink Machine, not the alpha version. So we don't really have the weird staircase kind of leading to nothing in the pitch white in the sky. However, of course we have Henry's desk, but we also have the rooms where Jojo knocked out the wall and then just decided, we're bringing in a bunch of new people here to the studio of Jojo's. Hee-haw! What the heck is that? But yeah, we got Benny cut out here. We got Henry's desk and some lovely paper stuff there. You're gonna see a bit around here. But we got this room over here, as I mentioned before, where Jojo knocked out some places for more artists to animators to kind of draw Bendy. Of course, this wall here is probably the most dreadful thing I've ever experienced when building this whole entire structure. As if you're in this room, there's actually an angled wall. And if you're looking at reference images, oh my god, this took so long. And, like, originally I wanted that angled wall here, but I was like, and it was difficult for the ceiling, and I kind of realized that, so I decided to improvise and just have this little like spinning desk kind of just to make the desk at an angle, which I think is the best of both worlds. Of course, you don't really have that much going on here besides our Scott Bendy cutout again. And of course, you get the bathroom, which is normally boarded up. Don't worry, the game's just lagging. It isn't like my shenanigans where I build so much stuff with high detail. But over here, over here we got the bathroom. Not much going on here. We got a Scott Bendy cutout, and of course, you can take a bath in ink.
How nice! Ah, I can feel it all over my skin. Woohoo! All right, now we're just gonna go over here again, and then we're just gonna go this. Oh. I just lagged. That's weird. Going over here. Oh, more lag. Oh, that's weird. Just say the same thing over again. But this room, you have a little chair going on. You got this other thing that just the black void of nothingness. And of course, you have this thing really. Basically, it's a replacement of the like areas we're supposed to go. You know, I'm talking about the signs, the directions. And of course, over here we have where it normally says dreams come true.
Now, originally I was going to make a whole joke and it was going to be a whole bit in this video. However, I kind of scrapped it where I was going to have a bard in that room and it was going to have like a pet or something in there that says dreams come true, because I was going to like, well, they kind of replaced the sign because being real here, lettering is very difficult in Lego Fortnite because we don't have light pieces to do it in Lego Fortnite, and I was going to just have a name it. You kind of get like besides I couldn't fit a bar in that room, so it's also leads to the inky black void and nothingness. But of course you got this cool room here, and of course using the frosted piece once again to kind of like the chair on the sideways angle, and you got some cool things going on to it. It's not much to really say, but it's a lot of cool details. You got this like ink pipe right here as well. You can barely see it, but in this room you have Sammy. What appears to be Sammy Lawrence's, not really Sammy's room, but it's like one of their desks where you can kind of have hints of Sammy Lawrence in the original game, if I remember correctly. But yeah, you got this cool little room going on here. Over here, you have another room that links to Inky Void. And then over here, you have one of my favorite rooms, which is this room down here. Now, normally there's a cutout right here, but I decided to replace him with Vader. Because who does not want to hear that breathing noise? Over here, we got this whole little chair thing. You got bullseye, you got some books going on. Not much really to say. And, of course, this way, you can find the secret room, which normally allows you to go to, like, if you do all the, like, a certain amount of challenges and yada yada, you will be able to unlock the secret black and white filter to make you even look more like Toon here. If you're wondering what this door leads to, you would think it's the Inky Void. Truth be told, it doesn't lead to that. Not at all, actually. It leads to my secret storage room that I do not want to talk about, so we'll just keep on going. Now, going this way, we're going to actually going across this pathway going over here, leading to a build that took me over an hour just to complete one thing. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, aka the ink machine. I am so proud of this thing. I wanted this to look as accurate as I possibly could using what we had at the time in Lego Fortnite. And I love this thing, man. The ink machine itself took an hour to build. And that's not even counting the room around it. I'm talking about the ink machine itself. I did showcase this room earlier in its earliest form, but of course you got these basically representing the chains of the ink machine. And I can tell you, when I was working on all of this, I was watching a Simpsons video. And that's just a random fun fact. I listen to a lot of random videos or music when I'm building. It's called multitasking, people. Especially if you're like me and you spend tons of hours building stuff sometimes. Like, it's kind of just like you need something in the background to kind of keep you motivated. Just a little random fun fact. Now over here you got a bunch of boxes that I was originally gonna have like an Easter egg with a bunch of green chairs here because they're just kind of a common thing in the series. But I just didn't add it for whatever reason. We can remedy that right now, actually. I was such in a rush that I did not add the green chairs. Well, where's the green chairs? Where's the green chairs? I build with these things so much. Don't mind me. Just gonna add some green chairs. Can we have one of you guys? Yeah, that's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be haunted, guys. Remember your cue. Be haunted. Perfect. But yeah, you get this whole room going on. The ink machine is so cool. It was a lot of fun putting this together. As I mentioned before, I want to make this as accurate as I possibly could. And I just love the view of the ink machine, man. It's just a beauty. It's just amazing. And yeah, it's basically all I have to say about the ink machine, as it is a crucial, important thing in the Bendy, as it can be seen in every single chapter of Bendy Machine Chapter 1. And even, I'm pretty sure it even has a crucial, I think it appears in Dark Revival. I'm not sure. I try to avoid spoilers for Dark Revival, so I'm playing it in September when they make the like kind of HD versions for PS5. I'm quite excited for that. So if you're interested, we're doing more side series later this year, which is pretty exciting. Over here, well, this path route that leads normally to Boris's room got cut out right here. You got this thing right here that leads to the Inky Void, and you got another desk. This was one of the first rooms I made with the actual lighting, which was a lot of fun. And this room uses another light, which is pretty cool. This light here is the upper light that appeared multiple times throughout this build, which is the Oro. This is actually from the Oro Studio Gallery, which is the Studio Skins. I don't know how you pronounce that. But yeah, you got the Bendy cutout once again. And of course, you got this room right here that leads to the Boris room. So we're just going to follow this. Not much is going on in here. It's just a normal little in-between room. And then, of course, you got the Boris room using the little thing that's from the sequels of the Star Wars where Kylo Ren tortured Rey. You know that scene. We all know that scene. Where somehow Palpatine returned. I'm trying to figure. I think those are two different films. I'm quoting right now. Those are definitely two different films. Don't mind it. Of course, you got this little thing going on. Not much is really going on here, but yeah, this is the room where Boris normally is. And of course, you got this thing using the fence pieces, which is pretty cool. Going this way, you can find the one room, which is the room I was talking about the lighting earlier, where I was like, this is the one room I feel a bit iffy on, and if anything, oh, I want to remove 2 of these. Let's see how this looks. I feel like I'm gonna feel better about this if I remove like 2 of these, right? But, okay, yeah, that's a lot better. That's a lot better. I'm more fine with this. So this is the room that I come into a lot, and I just bang my head when I'm trying to think of ideas. So I just do this a lot, this posture page. It's really fun. Yeah. Don't advise it. Don't try this at home. But normally this is where you find like the items for the pedestals and Bendy and just put them on the pedestals. And of course this is part of the quest to be able to activate the ink machine. And of course you got a little book in here too. Look at that. You got a book. Of Evil Book of the Storm King. Ooh, very scary. And of course, you got some piping going on. You can see a lot of piping throughout this build, which is pretty cool. Going this way, you have this hallway that over here that leads towards this room. That leads towards lag. That leads us to this lovely little thing right here. Look at this cool little shelf here. Custom shelf. You gotta love it. And then over here, there's one thing. I'm pretty sure in the games, one of these actually leads to like a thing with a Bendy cutout. I'm pretty sure. But of course, it's supposed to represent like an audio log right here. And yeah, you got some piping going on. Not much to really say. But you got a wall. You got a wall. It's a beautiful wall. You gotta pay attention to the wall. The wall's beautiful. But over here, you got this little thing going on over here with the inky void. A Bendy cutout, which is normally supposed to be right about here. And this room that has a bunch of cameras and recording technology. Don't ask why. It's just there. But over here, we got the actual room where you normally just like get all the pieces, you put it on the pedestal, and then you go in here and push the button, and you activate the ink machine. Pretty much how it works. That you know the gist of chapter 1. So this is where you turn the valve, and then this room gets flooded by ink, and then of course you have this thing that's playing Bendy with our Bendy head in here again, and you got some green chairs. You gotta love it. But over here, of course, why am I saying over here? I basically said it again. Of course, you have the same like little like projector design as usual. But that's basically the gist of this room, and that's basically about it for the entire build. I know. I just summed that up in about like 13 minutes, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this build. That's basically, oh my god, I'm lagging all over the place. You kind of see why I'm a bit hesitant to make the exterior right now, because the build limit is something I'm quite afraid of. Besides me not having, like, not trying to rush myself with what I want to do with the exterior yet. But yeah, this build has been a lot of fun to work on, personally. As long as, I know it's like, it was one of the longer builds, but it was a lot of fun. Especially someone who's a big fan of like Bendy in general. It was a lot of fun putting this together and kind of bringing it all to life inside Lego Fortnite, as an idea I had for a while, and the delay was absolutely worth it. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video as much as I did, and if you guys have any suggestions for what you want to see next, then let me know down in the comments below. Personally, I have some ideas what I'm doing next. Personally, I might just jump to a smaller project, which is Sister Location, which I mentioned a few months ago. I'm slowly catching up to plans, guys. My schedule's been all over the place. But who knows? It's basically I just do whatever I feel like at this point. That's basically how it goes. If I have an idea, I normally jump onto it. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please consider leaving a like if you're new, consider subscribing for more content just like this, as I make a lot of Lego Fortnite content, Fortnite Battle Royale, and whatever I think of. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I hope you all have a spectacular day, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, everyone.